Great to see you all. Welcome to 2023 Korea Gender Equality Forum. My warmest welcome also goes to our online viewers. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kim Han-byul, KBS announcer, who will be moderating today's forum. Out of male KBS announcers, I am the first one who took out the paternity leave, so moderating today's forum gives me a special meaning. I will listen to presentations of all speakers throughout the forum and will do my best to moderate this forum. 2023 Korea Gender Equality Forum has this topic of coexistence of work and care responsibilities in a society challenged by low fertility rates to discuss solutions and ways to overcome these low fertility issues in Korea and establish work-life balance and care culture across society. It is attended by experts from home and abroad who will be sharing their insights and experiences in this topic so that we can explore ways forward. First, we'd like to watch a video which will open 2023 Korea Gender Equality Forum. Please give a big
2020년을 시작으로 양성평등 실현을 위해 지속가능한 발전 방향을 모색한 대한민국 양성평등 포럼. 양성평등 포럼은 모두를 위한 대한민국의 성장을 뒷받침했습니다. 지난해 대한민국 합계 출산율 0.78명. 결혼과 출산, 양육이 행복한 선택이 될 수 있는 환경 조성이 중요한 지금. 대한민국뿐만 아니라 많은 나라들이 양성평등 관점에서 저출산 문제에 대응하기 위해 정책적 역량을 집중하고 있습니다.
아이를 더 낳고 싶지만 제 경력 단절이 되는 것도 더 고민이 되는 것 같아요.
육아를 하는 아빠들의 공감대가 좀 더 형성될 수 있으면 좋겠습니다.
병원에 가야 돼서 아이를 맡겨야 된다거나 하는
주말에도 좀 긴급 보육을 지원을 해준다거나
다양한 돌봄 정책이 나왔으면 좋겠습니다.
대한민국은 저출산 문제 극복을 국가 어젠다로 삼고 정부와 시민사회가 합심하여 노력하고 있습니다. 2023년 대한민국 양성평등 포럼에서는 저출산 극복을 위해 정부와 기업, 시민사회가 나아가야 할 방향을 짚어보고 저출산 문제에 대응하는 각국의 사례와 정책 경험을 공유합니다. 양성평등한 일터, 함께 일하는 사회를 위한 정책 대안을 논의하고 돌봄 걱정 없도록 함께 돌보는 사회를 위한 과제를 살펴봅니다. 함께 일하고 함께 돌보는 사회, 내일의 지속가능한 발전을 위해 오늘 양성평등을 이야기합니다.
(2023) Korea Gender Equality Forum. That was an opening video that captured the key message of this forum. Now, let me introduce our VIPs who are gracing this occasion with their presence. When I name each and every one of our VIP, please give a big hand. First, the host of today's forum, Minister of Gender Equality and Family, Kim Hyun-sook. Please welcome her with a big round of applause. Now let me introduce our VIPs. First, keynote speaker Kim Young-mi. Vice Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Aging Society and Population Policy. Now, Lee In-si, President of the Korean Peninsula Future Research Institute. Now let me introduce our speakers for Session 1. Daniel Bolband, the Swedish Ambassador to the Republic of Korea. And Madame Anne Kari Hansen Obin, Norwegian Ambassador to the Republic of Korea. Welcome. We are also joined by distinguished members, the heads of missions in Korea. First, Damir Kusent, Croatian Ambassador to Korea. And Zakaria Al-Saadi, Romanian Ambassador to Korea. And Susanna Bazepatu, Portuguese Ambassador to Korea. Diab Al-Rashidi, Kuwaitian Ambassador to Korea. Mohamed Ben Sabri, Algerian Ambassador to Korea. And Isabel Di Carlo Quero, Venezuelan Ambassador to Korea. Welcome. And sessional speakers also, Alexandra Sido, Deputy Head of Mission, Australian Embassy in Korea. Welcome. And Gera Sweer, Deputy Head of Mission, British Embassy in Korea. Thank you. Last but not least, Frederick Appelt, Deputy Head of Mission, EU Embassy in Korea. Thank you. And Jang Myung-sun, President of the Korean Institute for Gender Equality Promotion and Education. Welcome. Jeon Joo-won, Acting President of the Korean Institute of Healthy Family. Thank you so much. And Lee Jung-shin, UN Gender Equality Institute in Korea. Welcome. I'd like to ask for your kind understanding for not being able to introduce each and every one of our VIPs. Next, I'd like to invite the Minister of Gender Equality and Family, Kim Hyun-sook, to the podium for an opening speech. Please give a big hand. Please give another round of a big applause to our Minister.
Distinguished guests, it is a pleasure to meet you. I am Minister Hyun-sook Kim of the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family. So, it has been a very long time since we have been able to meet face-to-face like this at the site. We have 250 people here joining us, and we also have 150 people joining online. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us today, either in person or online, for the 2023 Korea Gender Equality Forum. Let's give ourselves a big round of applause. I would like to express my gratitude to Ambassador Maria Castillo Fernandez of the European Union, who will deliver a congratulatory video message, and Ms. Sima Sami Bahous, the Executive Director of UN Women, who will deliver the keynote speech, and Ms. Kim Young-mi, Vice Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Aging Society and Population Policy, who will be speaking today. I would also like to thank our session chairs, former Minister Baek Hee-young of the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family, and Dr. Lee In-sil, Director of the Korean Peninsula Population Institute for Future, as well as all our speakers who have contributed to this forum. In particular, I extend special thanks to the ambassadors and deputy ambassadors who have joined us to share their experiences and policy cases related to low birth rates, as well as to the international speakers who will be participating online. Last year, South Korea recorded a total fertility rate of 0.78. South Korea is not alone in facing the issue of low birth rates. Creating an environment where marriage, childbirth, and childcare can be happy choices is of paramount importance. It is the backbone of a country, and I think that this is to prepare for the next century of a country. Efforts are needed to provide high-quality care services, promote women's economic participation, and spread a culture of gender equality in the workplace. In times like these, it is crucial to share experiences and cases from different countries and explore solutions for addressing low birth rates from a gender equality perspective. This is why the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family has chosen the theme, the coexistence of work and care responsibilities in a society challenged by low fertility rates, for the 2023 Korea Gender Equality Forum, now in its 4th year. Through this forum, we aim to examine efforts and achievements in overcoming low birth rates in various countries and discuss with experts from diverse fields, including governments and academia, the reduction of gender gaps in the labor market, the establishment of work-life balance cultures, and the expansion of social care roles. South Korea considers overcoming the issue of low birth rates a crucial national agenda and is actively implementing various policies. We are boldly devising and investing in measures to ensure that the joy of raising children and personal fulfillment can be simultaneously achieved, with the nation taking clear responsibility. I hope that the 2023 Korea Gender Equality Forum today will be a platform for sharing policy wisdom to build a gender equal society where we work together and care together, and where raising children is a source of happiness. I hope that it will be a place where we can contemplate ways to achieve the nation's sustainable development and find new hope beyond the challenges we face. The discussions and presentations today will serve as a valuable foundation for shaping the vision and policies to address the issue of low birth rates and for fostering positive changes in our society's culture, norms, and perceptions. Once again, I extend a warm welcome and my heartfelt thanks to all who have participated in this forum. Thank you.
Well, that was Minister of Gender Equality and Family, Kim Hyun-sook's opening speech. Please, thank you so much, Minister. Now I'd like to move on to congratulatory speech by Maria Castillo Fernandez, Ambassador of the European Union to the Republic of Korea. She sent us a video. Please watch the video.
Hyun-sook, and distinguished guests. Thank you for inviting me to deliver a congratulatory speech for the 2023 Korea Gender Equality Forum. This is a very pertinent event as we try to address gender equality and low birth rate, two very important social issues, both in the Republic of Korea as well as in Europe. Despite much efforts and improvements on gender equality over the past decade, global labor force participation of women is still lower than men. Women employment rate during child-rearing years is even lower. The return to work ratio in Korea after childbirth remains lower than in Europe. Women still largely bear the burden of care and home duties, and at the same time face difficulties of having a work-life balance in the workplace. The gender pay gap also remains high. As Korea is faced with a demographic crisis with the lowest birth rate among OECD countries, it is very important to understand that gender inequality goes hand in hand with low birth rate. Therefore, we need to tackle the gender equality issues comprehensively. Although inequalities still exist, the European Union has made significant progress in gender equality over the last decades. In 2020, we presented our EU Gender Equality Strategy, which delivers on President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen's commitment to achieve the Union of Equality. As part of this strategy, the EU has adopted many rules and regulations in the last years that create more incentive for family-related leave and to increase women employment rate. And these include pay transparency for women and men, the EU Directive on Work-Life Balance, and our care strategy. Ensuring the same rights to all not only empowers our societies, but it makes them richer, fairer, and more secure. This is a collective challenge and a shared responsibility. For this reason, we have to work together, the European Union and the Republic of Korea, and find common ways, innovative strategies, and share best practice to promote gender equality. Events like the one today is another step towards a gender equal world. I wish you a good success event. 감사합니다.
Well, thank you so much. As was mentioned in the congratulatory speech, I also hope that we would be able to build solidarity and cooperation between different stakeholders for a happier Korea. Now, I'd like to move on to the first keynote speech, which will be delivered by Executive Director of UN Women, Sima Sami Bahous. She also sent us a video for a keynote speech. Please watch the video.
Hyun-sook, Minister of Gender Equality and Family of the Republic of Korea. Ministers, distinguished delegates, dear participants. My congratulations to the Republic of Korea for this 4th Korea Gender Equality Forum. Your focus on care work could not be more important or timely. UN Women and our partners work around the world to advance the care economy and women's economic empowerment. It is an honor to share the lessons we have learned with you here today. Minister Kim, distinguished guests, the democratic challenges in Korea and around the world reflect gender norms which we must change at home, in the workplace, and in society at large. We must no longer see care as a commodity, a personal choice, or a family obligation. That is destructive and wrong. Care is a precious public good to be valued, invested in, and equally shared between members of society and public and private institutions. It is a fundamental contribution to social and economic well-being. It is also a smart investment. Properly resourcing care systems delivers immediate and long-term benefits for women and men and children and societies and economies. A recent UN Women study showed how investing just an additional 1.16% of GDP on childcare can increase employment by 3.9%, including through jobs in the childcare sector, which predominantly benefit women. Excellencies, Korean women are paid approximately 31% less than men and are underrepresented in leadership, holding only about 21% of managerial positions and 5% of executive posts. It is an irony that Korea has both some of the world's most highly educated women, yet barely more than a half participate in the job market. Respecting women's rights in the workplace and creating incentives for balancing work and family allow people to make family planning choices without sacrificing their careers. I commend the government of Korea for its efforts to address these challenges, expanding paid parental leave and improving public childcare policies is a good start. But we can and must do more. I have 4 concrete proposals for your consideration. First, I encourage the Republic of Korea to ratify and implement ILO Convention 190 on prevention of all forms of violence and harassment in the workplace. The world of work must embrace women, and when the workplace is not safe, women will reasonably not want to be in it. Second, I encourage the public and private sectors in Korea to create more opportunities for women's enterprises and suppliers, including through procuring from women-led and women-owned and gender-responsive businesses. Third, I encourage the government of Korea to continue to provide incentives that promote a culture of equality and shared responsibility, including through equal paid parental leave and flexible work policies. Finally, I invite more Korean companies to join the Women's Empowerment Principles. These offer a blueprint and guidance to businesses on practical actions to promote gender equality and women's empowerment in the workplace. By signing them, companies commit to fostering business practices that empower women, including equal pay for work of equal value and zero tolerance against sexual harassment in the workplace. Excellencies, distinguished guests, women and men have equal confidence in their future and their ability to balance family and work. They must enjoy equality at home and at work, founded on policies and practices that contribute to changing traditional social norms and gender stereotypes. I am confident that this forum can be a milestone for Korea and other countries, reinforcing a shared commitment to action that recognizes and supports the fundamental rights of women and girls and achieved a gender equal society that benefits all. I wish you all every success in your important work, and I thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a congratulatory speech by Executive Director of UN Women, Sima, Sami, Bahous. Now, let me introduce our second keynote speaker, Kim Young-mi, Vice Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Aging Society and Population Policy, will give us a presentation on the way forward for better population policies in the era of low birth rates. Please give a big hand.
It is a pleasure to meet all of you. As was introduced, I am Young-mi Kim, Vice Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Aging Society and Population Policy. First of all, I would like to congratulate the opening and holding of the 2023 KGEF. As you are well aware, Korea is facing a ultra-low birth rate, unprecedented in the world, and it is due to various issues in our society, economy, and in our culture, and they are structural issues. But in the basis and fundamental of all of this is the family relationship, gender relationships, and we see that those changes are not following the changes and value set changes these days. Those gathered here today understand the problem of low birth rates and gender equality issues, and you have put in efforts to overcome the problems. And I would like to use this opportunity to pull together and gather together ideas and suggestions that you have made for us to overcome this low birth rate and also the issue of gender equality. And I hope that today's event can lead to a society in which Korea is able to overcome these issues. First, I wanted to talk about Korea's status and situation. We just heard a keynote speech from UN Women. The executive director mentioned in her keynote address that despite the efforts that have been made by the Korean government, we are still facing this situation, and we are looking at the situation in which we cannot but accept that the policies have, to a certain extent, been a failure. So I now then will like to talk about the direction in which Korea's demographic policies and gender equality policies should go forward. First of all, on the status and outlook of demographic changes. This is about the current situation of Korea's birth rate. Korea is experiencing an unprecedented fall in its fertility rate. In the 1960s, we had a policy of reducing the birth rate, and at the time, our birth rate was 6. However, it has sharply plummeted, and currently it is at the point of 0.78 today. This is unprecedented around the world. However, we also realize unprecedented economic development, and there was also an increase in the education level of women. In the 1960s, our per capita income was less than 100, but now it is more than 30,000. So, in material sense, we were able to realize wealth, but there's uncertainty in society and anxiety, and there were situations in our society that led to the youth delaying and giving up on marriage altogether. Women's education levels have increased greatly. In 1966, the portion of women in high school was just 19.8%, but 33 years after that, it has reached 99%. And upon graduating from high school, the portion of women going on to university is 80%, and in 2005, it surpassed the level of men. But as was mentioned, the employment rate of women is still quite low, and women bear the responsibility of raising children and giving birth, which has led to an even lower employment rate. With COVID-19, we see that the intention of getting married and also having children has gone down even further, which is being pointed out as an important factor of the lower birth rate. Steadily, it has gone down, but with the COVID-19 situation, it went down even further, and we see that those intending to have children has gone down even further. So as a result, consequently, Korea is experiencing a aging, super fast aging society. So by 2025, more than 20% of our population will be age 65 and above, and within 10 years, those that are 50 and above will be 50%. And just in 20 years, we see that the above 65 population has increased by threefold. As a result, the population demographic pyramid has rapidly changed. Right now, it is a good demographic portion, but by 2070, we see that our median age will be more than 60 years of age, and we will enter into a super age society. There are various factors that have led to such situation. We can see that there are many factors. There are macro, median, and micro level factors, such as the issues found in society and economic structure, and also culture. So there is a difficulty in having children, first of all, because of infertility, and risk of career break, and changes in values and perception. And there's also uncertainty in the future and about their jobs, highly competitive society, and a low possibility of class mobility. As Korea realized economic development, areas that we neglected, that we overlooked, have led to these results, and this has led to the low fertility rate. And at the foundation of this, we see that there is the issue of unequal gender relationships. So let's dig deeper. This graph that you are seeing is the female employment rate by age groups. As demonstrated in this graph, From 2010, 10 years past that, and 20 years past that, we see that those age 30, around that age, the employment rate suddenly plunges. So there's a dip in the employment rate. The difference here is that with the delayed and postponement of marriage and childbirth, the bottoming out point has been extended, and it shows that there are many women sadly are postponing or just giving up on having children. And Korea sees low birth rate and a low employment rate of women. So this is a double problem. Therefore, we see that it is immensely important for us to prevent career breakages. We need to have a care system that is strengthened, and we need to reduce working hours for both men and women so that they can have time to spend with their children. What are the obstacles to female employment? The biggest obstacle was the burden of childcare. So women answered, and this survey rate has been maintained for 10 years that they are not having jobs because of the burden of childcare. And there is the prejudice of society. It has been increasing. Of course, recently it has gone down, which is a positive signal. Lastly, in Korea, and one thing that I wanted to point out is that when you interview for a job, still they ask, are you intending to get married? Are you intending to have children? Because they shun away from women who intend to get married and to have children. This is an issue that needs to be addressed. Excuse me, this pointer, this is not working well. And so this shows the difficulties faced, and we have the Swedish and also UK ambassador here with us. This shows the maternal employment rate by age of youngest child, and we see that Sweden is the highest employment rate, whereas Korea is the lowest, and the difference is a whopping almost 30%. And we see the childbirth rate is different, and there is an even bigger gap in terms of the maternal employment rate. So this shows a motherhood penalty. So how is parental status impacting one's employment by gender? In Korea, for fathers, becoming a father does not have an impact on one's employment, but for mothers, it is a completely different story. It drops to 1/5. Therefore, it shows that in Korea there is a huge cost associated with childbirth, and women in Korea who have an extremely high education rate cannot accept this. This has led to the drop in the fertility rate, and this is in Korean, excuse me for that. We see that the youth, their value sets are changing. Those who feel positive about marriage has dropped by 20 percentage points, which has gone down to 36.4%. And for women only, it's 28% only. So compared to European countries, the childbirth out of marriage is less than 3%. But you can see that Koreans now are not valuing marriage as they have done in the past. Therefore, there needs to be a revolution in our family institution itself. Unequal division of housework and child care. So I'll just skip this slide. Then what has the Korean government done in order to address this problem of low fertility and population aging? In 2006, we established this Presidential Committee for Low Fertility and Population Aging. Already in 2006, our total fertility rate had gone down to 1.1%, so it was quite belated that we set up such a committee, and we set up an framework act on low birth rate in an aging society in 2005. In the early 2000s, it was thought to be a norm that caring for one's family should be done in the family, that it was not considered a public responsibility. So child raising and family support policies were non-existent almost, but there were massive changes with these basic plans being set up in 2000 from 2021. When the fourth basic plan came out, we focused on the quality of life and rights of individuals, not just on increasing fertility, because we felt that having children is an individual right. So this shows the budget trend in response to low birth rate. In 2006, in the beginning, it was a meager 2.1 trillion. However, in 2022, it has jumped to 51.7 trillion won. Despite the massive investment during the past 16 years, this was not that helpful in improving the low fertility rate. So there is some criticism related to that. However, compared to other OECD countries, the support directly injected to support families is not high. Furthermore, we use this budget for supporting families and also to overcome structural problems such as housing and education. So this budget was not enough. Therefore, for us to overcome the low birth rate problem, we need to create a more robust social welfare society framework. Because I do not have time, I will briefly cover this area. This shows the support and the performance or results of these different types of support. So many say that we injected a lot of budget to increase low birth rate. However, as of 2019, we see that our support for families is 1.56%. It is half the level of France, which is the highest. And even if you compare with the average of OECD countries, it is still low. So there are many government policies that have been expanded for these various issues, and we are seeing an expansion of policies in order for us to overcome the situation. But we see that these policies have not laid root. Therefore, our government will not just work on expanding policies. We will make sure that these policies will be implemented in the workplaces. We want the norms and values to be changed and corporate culture to be changed, which is an area that we will be promoting in the future. Then, the way forward for better population policies in the era of low birth rate. What should be the path forward? We have set up three principles: fairness, flexibility, and third, sustainability. From childbirth to the education, care, and labor, the entire life cycle itself should be fair, and we should overcome the problem of career breaks, and giving birth should not be a minus in one's career. It should be a plus, and we need to have a flexible labor environment which leads to work and life balance, and we need to invest more in people's quality of life and well-being. Strategies to promote these policies have been set in the following way. First, we will choose areas that have the biggest impact, so we will be selective. Second, we will reduce blind spots and gaps and imbalances. There are differences and gaps by company type, size, region, and generation. So we need to overcome these gaps. Third, another important area is structural reform, such as changes in labor, education, and housing, and raising more awareness. So, as such, In the government policies that have been announced, the objective of our policy will be to create a social environment where marriage, childbirth, and parenting can be happy choices. And we have set up 5 key priority areas. So the first area is providing the highest level of care and education from infants to elementary school students, primary school students. Just as Minister Hyun-sook Kim just stated, we will expand support for child care services, and other related policies will be expanded. Second, this is immensely important, ensuring working parents to have and secure spend time with their children. So we will be reducing labor hours, work hours, and we will enable men and women both to use their paid parental leave. Actually, we have this parental leave policy, and compared to any other country, the period and the institution itself is very well set up, because each individual parent, the father and mother, can use a parental leave for 1 hour, but the income replacement rate is slightly low. We have a policy of trying to increase this. As much as possible, we want parents to have a certain income guarantee, but to be able to care for their children. So we have a system called 6+6. If they are for 6 months get paid full, and then for 6 months a little less than that. And if both of the parents for the 2 years that they spend in the parental leave, we will add 6 more months that they can use as parental leave. During the COVID pandemic, people were working from their homes, and even after the pandemic, we will allow for working from your home to be part of the institution and system, and we're trying to legalize this. Third part is strengthening family-friendly housing support. I think that housing is a big burden for families in other megacities. However, in Korea, we saw a rapid increase in housing prices in Korea. And this is leading to the youth and young to think that it's difficult to get married because of the high housing price. So this is pointed out as the biggest factor of delaying marriage and giving up on marriage. So we want our young people, the newlyweds, not to worry too much and to feel burdened due to housing costs. There will be massive support for newlyweds for their housing. And the fourth is alleviating the burden of childcare expenses. In Korea, compared to European countries, we did not adopt the parental benefit early on. It was adopted in 2018, and it is only being provided for children, for families with children in their elementary ages. We had a policy of supporting children aged 0 to 1, very infants, and we also recently announced a tax credit for families with children. We will have to review more areas in which we can have a family-friendly tax system. So we are interested in amending laws around tax in order for it to be more family-friendly. Fifth area is ensuring health from pregnancy to infancy. In Korea, the age of those having their first child is 33 years old. Compared to other countries, this is very old. So there is the problem of negative health problems with the mother and the child. We are seeing higher levels of infertility. Therefore, we need to expand fertility and support for infertility. Furthermore, there needs to be support for medical expenses in infertility care, such as freezing eggs, and we are carrying out various policies to support medical and health care for children. These days, I ask this question to myself a lot. What society do we want to live in? And what society do we want to hand down to our next generation? Korea started from the least developed country, and now we are on the ranks of an advanced country these days. In Korea, we have those who were born in a country that was the least developed country, and we also have those who were born and worked during the time when Korea was a developing country, and there's also those who have enjoyed the material abundance and wealth. But this led to a lot of competition, and the youth have a different value set. So we have these different generations living together. European countries realized democratization and industrialization in the 300 years. However, Korea realized globalization, industrialization, and democratization in just 60 years. I believe that the low birth rate is due to us missing out and neglecting core values that should have been upheld, and out of them, I believe that there is the value of gender equality. The society that we want to create should be one in which we can have work-life balance enjoyed by everyone, which is the theme of today's conference. For us to create a place that coexists of work and care responsibilities, we should make sure that all members of society contribute to this. And we are urging the corporations and the business sector to play a role too. And I believe that our committee should take on this responsibility. Becoming a parent should not be a penalty. It should be a benefit. And if this becomes a benefit, these problems will be resolved. The work culture and the work styles need to become more flexible. They need to change in innovative ways. Therefore, we should not see career breaks due to marriage and childbirth and raising. If we create a society like that, I am sure that we can overcome the problem of a low birth rate and aging society. I will now go on to the conclusion of my presentation. The children are so pretty, aren't they? Recently, when I see children, I just, it brings a smile to my face. And the people that I meet these days, though, are actually not children. They are older, and I know that you dream of a world filled with children. We need to create a world where children are happy, and I think that will lead to a better future for Korea. In reality, Korea is seeing fierce competition, and there is a friction and even hatred between men and women. Men and women need to live together in harmony for us to see more children in our society. And in this structure where men and women abhor each other and have conflict will of course not lead to that situation. So of course we need more policy and support. However, we need to change the value sets and mindsets and inequality and negative values. In our society and workplaces, there's still discrimination and hatred with one another. This has to be replaced with respect and solidarity. Instead of materialistic values, we need to place more value on community and families. Thus far, we have learned about advanced policies, and we have benchmarked them from advanced countries about equality and about gender equality and caring. So I was a researcher for the past 20 years, and then recently I was appointed as the deputy chairperson. And in my position, I was pleased to see that many advanced countries' policies have been adopted in Korea. However, we should not stop at policies. We need to make sure that these policies become a part of our society and our lives. That is even more important, that it becomes a reality. So we need to work together. We need to care together. And in a society like this, we want our youth to have a life that they have time to spend with their family, and this should be our daily lives, and we should ensure that people can lead a life like this. The rise and demise of nations are no longer just on growth and economic growth. We need to pursue well-being of our society, and I think those gathered here have pursued this. We need to pool your wisdom and your efforts even further so that Korean society can move toward to that society. There needs to be a grand transition. Thank you for listening for a long time, and it was an honor for me to have this opportunity to present today. I hope we can have a fruitful discussion today. Thank you very much.
Well, that was the keynote speech by Kim Young-mi, Vice Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Aging Society and Population Policy. Let me extend my gratitude for that great speech. This brings us to the end of the opening session. We'll like to have brief break time, and then starting from 10:50 we will have session 1. In session 1, we'd like to hear 5 presentations by ambassadors and deputy heads of mission of 5 countries. I expect to listen to various case studies and experiences of respective countries. You can also leave questions in real time at our website during the session. If you leave questions or inquiries, then during the Q&A session, we will take up your questions to answer. And the on-site audience can also ask questions by using QR codes, and we will select some of the people who have left comments and questions to give small tokens of gratitude. So I'd like to ask for your active participation. We will see you at 10:50. Thank you so much.